Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. In this video, I am going to explain enumeration of hurdles in below poverty line census for homeless people and their empowerment. This article I wrote on 20th May 2020 and my suggestion already I sent to our union government through citizens portal mygovernment.in. Content for this video I given in the description, you can go through and study. Homelessness is a major issue in India. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights defines homeless as those who do not live in a regular residence due to lack of adequate housing, safety and availability. Some other problems leading to homelessness include disability, either mental, physical or both, lack of affordable housing, unemployment and change in industry. Desertion of the old, mentally ill, unmarried pregnant women, helpless divorced women and girl children also are some of the main causes of homelessness in India. Policies related to deinstitutionalization of care for mentally ill people and subsequent abandonment of a family member with mental illness by the family have also increased the number of people living without a roof over their heads. Homelessness is in part a direct result of families migrating from rural to urban cities, and urbanization, migration to urban areas can occur for a variety of reasons ranging from loss of land, need for sustainable employment, lack of clean water and other resources. Once reaching cities, homeless attempt to create shelters out of tin, hardboard, wood and plastic. Homeless is exposed to extreme weather in summer and winter. Homeless individuals passed away every day in Delhi. Their deaths were not recorded by the police. Homeless individuals may experience abuse, maltreatment and lack of access to schools and health care. People also suffer from bad health and extremely limited access to medical facilities. Some of the reasons include lack of proper identity documents required by medical facilities, cost and inclination of healthcare providers to outright reject them. Homeless women, particularly young women, suffer the worst kind of violence and insecurity as vulnerable to sexual exploitation and trafficking. The state governments employs oppressive laws to criminalize homeless people. It was only in 2018 that the 1959 Beckery law, which can jail homeless people for 10 years, was struck down in New Delhi. However, the law is still upheld in many other Indian states, but the studies indicate that 99% men and 97% women resort to Beckery due to abject poverty, distress, migration from rural villages and the unavailability of employment. Indo Global Social Service Society studied homeless population as their lives are synonymous with poverty, vulnerability, exclusion, identity crisis, gender discrimination and exploitation and multidimensional deprivation. India defines homeless as those who do not live in census houses but rather stay on pavements, roadsides, railway platforms, staircases, temples, streets, in pipes and other open spaces. There are 0.77 million homeless people in India, or 0.15% of the country's total population, according to the 2011 census, consisting of single men, women, mothers, the elderly and the disabled. However, it is argued that the numbers are far greater than accounted by the point in time method. For example, while the census of 2011 counted 46,724 homeless individuals in Delhi, the Indo Global Social Service Society counted them to 88,410 and the another organization called the Delhi Development Authority counted them to 1,50,000. Furthermore, there is a high proportion of mentally ill and street children in the homeless population. More than 3 million men and women are homeless in India, capital city of New Delhi. A family of 4 members has an average of 5 homeless generation in India. Homeless populations have largely been neglected in the census 2011 due to their temporary habitation in the city. Accurate data on the number of homeless persons is missing, which leads to a failure of the policies designed for them because it never reaches the entire lot. While the Indian census does not categorically define homeless, it explains houseless households as those which do not live in building but stay in open or roadside railway platforms, under flyovers, etc. Besides the macro household data, the census does not collect any other data on these persons. There is a shortage of 18.78 million houses in the country. More than 90 million people in India make less than $1 per day, thus setting them below the global poverty threshold. The number of people living in slums in India has more than doubled in the past 2 decades and now exceed the entire population of Britain. About 78 million people in India live in slums and tenements. 17% of the world's slum dwellers reside in India. Mumbai Dharavi was a slum tourist destination for slumming, where homeless people and slum dwellers alike could be openly viewed by tourists. The homeless work across 15 major occupations, with construction labor topping the list and rag picking, traffic light vendor, baking, cart pushing, and among the other listed occupations. They spend most of their earning on food, 95%. Scheduled caste comprise 36% of the homeless, scheduled tribes 23%, and backward class 21% are homeless. With the homeless spending most of their money on fulfilling basic amenities, India's commitment to provide housing all its citizens by 2022 with an aim to build 20 million urban units come as a boon to them. However, before this homogeneous task is effectively completed, the homeless must be recorded and mapped to reduce their vulnerability. In 2010, UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program, India conducted a survey that found that only about 3% of the homeless people possessed a voter ID or ration card. The public distribution system is one of the major services offered by the government to people living below the poverty line in India. The system provides food and grains for low-income families at a cheaper rate. However, it requires identity documents to determine eligibility, with many homeless people lack. Although NGOs work with the homeless in obtaining documentation of identity, only about 3% of the homeless people in India have identity proof, meaning that most are excluded from becoming beneficiaries of the below poverty line. Actually, they are very dire need of people to receive the PDS and social welfare scheme, but non-availability of identity document, they continue in abject poverty. This enumeration system should be changed in our country on humanitarian measures. Nearly 60% of the homeless of Mumbai are from migrants from other states, and most in this category moved from rural areas. Most of them work in informal sector as laborers and live without a permanent home. Many of these migrants do not have any sort of identity documents and thus are not registered for social welfare benefits such as the public distribution system. These migrants originally worked on agricultural lands that they did not own themselves. Many left their villages to escape caste-based violence that destroyed their ability to make a living. While the government has outlined stimulus plans that provides for direct cash transfers and food security measures for the poor, but it is unclear how many homeless, many of whom lack documentation, would get any aid. There are 18 million street children in India. the largest number of any country in the world, with 11 million being children.